What is this? A trespasser? No, a human. What is a human doing in the depths of this sacred forest? The nearest human settlement is leagues away. Let's see. Nothing? No weapons, no supplies, just some paltry coins. Were you expecting to survive out here with nothing but sheer luck? Oh. But these injuries. Fire burns. There was smoke coming from the east. Perhaps. No matter. You may not be one of us, but I certainly can't leave you here to die, can I? But the elders might kill you where you lay if they know that you have entered our sacred lands without explanation. Very well. I will take you to my home first. We will deal with those old, stubborn fools later. A bit heavy, but nothing I can't handle. You better explain yourself when you awake, little human. Oh, you are awake. You certainly took your sweet time, didn't you? 2 days you have laid in my bed. I suppose your body needed the time to heal. Don't move. You'll irritate your burns. Are you trying to undo all of my hard work? Where are you? Why, you are in none other than the Emerald Forest. Trespassing, in fact. It's a wonder you weren't caught earlier. These forests are crawling with rangers like me. You're lucky that I'm the one who found you. Some other younger ranger may have shot you where you lay, rather than check to make sure that you were harmless first. A harmless little human. No weapons or anything. You should thank whatever gods you pray to, if you have any, that you are not dead already. Now, hold still. I was just about to reapply this poultice to the wounds on your arms. Yes, it does stink, doesn't it? Many effective poultices do. Do they not teach you the art of healing in your village? Mixing a healing poultice for burns is such a basic skill. Your village? Oh. I'm very sorry, human, but I have no word from your village. I did see smoke rising from the east a few days before I found you. Was that your village? Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. Raiders, you say? Such cruelty. I'll never understand it. It makes sense now, though. Why you had nothing on you except the clothes on your back, I mean. Your injuries, your lack of supplies. You fled, didn't you? Ran into the... Excuse me, did you say the dark forest to seek refuge? dark forest? Is that what humans call it? What in the Laurenthian hells? That's besides the point. I suppose it doesn't matter what humans call it. Anyway, so you ran into the forest because you knew that the raiders would be too cautious to enter it. And you weren't, apparently? I can't tell if you are smart or stupid to have entered this forest, knowing the dangers. Perhaps you are simply lacking in self-preservation. Or perhaps the raiders posed a danger that was greater than this forest, although it's hard to imagine. Yes, I suppose you are alive, after all. Your gamble has paid off, human, although it was won by a small thread of luck. Now sit up. Do you need help? No? Very good. You seem like a strong one, especially after hearing your story. Let's apply the poultice then. I must apologize, but this will sting a little. I suppose it is nothing in comparison to what you have been enduring. Worry not. The pain will quickly fade once it is applied. You have already slept through the worst of it, thank goodness. Okay. Very good. You did well. Not moving too much, at least, despite the discomfort. Thank you. I do have some healing abilities after all. Yes, I can tell that you are able to persevere. To not only have braved our forest despite the obvious dangers, but to have done so while sporting such terrible injuries. I would say that you would have some battle scars to show for it, but my poultice is very effective. I may have also mixed a little magic into it. It's against the rules, but, well, you'll keep this a secret, right? After all, it is to your benefit. Good. The elders would have had my hide strung up and quartered if they knew that I used such precious skill on a human. It is generally reserved for our own kind, after all, and magic takes time to be restored, especially when one is so far from the sacred tree. We are still relatively close to the edge of the forest, you see. I was stationed here after I had a little disagreement with an elder. Authority and I do not exactly get along, you see. Oh, you too. Ah, all of those at your village were called into a meeting, you say, while you were wandering the riverside when the raiders came. Oh, my. So that is why you still had the burns on your hands and arms. You tried to open the barn gates to let out the horses. Oh, but you do have a kind soul, don't you? It is a wonder that the raiders did not catch you. And what about your family? Ah, that is good to hear. So you saw them across the fields, but the raiders were between you, so you could not join them. Pushed against the edge of the forest, you really had no choice but to enter it. I will tell the elders that when we go to them and inform them of your trespassing. Perhaps your plight will soften their frigid hearts and finally convince them to allow us free passing into the human realm. Of course we must tell them. After all, I do occasionally get visitors, despite being so far from the heartland. And it will be some time before you are ready to travel back to your village. Who knows what you will find when you arrive? It is better for us to inform the elders of your existence before someone else twists the narrative against us. You will not be the only one who will be punished, you know. Will they kill me? No. They wouldn't dare. Not every elf is a magic user, after all. We are rare and far in between. And they would never waste me when they could use me. They may have sent me away, but they simply need to call upon the silver horn, and I will come running. They know. I love my home, after all, even if I do not love those who run it. I will protect it with my life. Perhaps that is why I am so suited to the role of ranger. No. They will most likely put me in confinement for a few months, or, stick me in the archives to tediously sort and manage the books for the next year or two. Can you imagine? No, I am trained as a ranger, and I will stay a ranger. At least until something else calls for me. But I love the forest, the sound of the bird call, the smell of the rain-soaked earth, the freedom of being far away from those old, stubborn elders. So I would greatly prefer your cooperation on this matter, if you will. Thank you. Now, I do believe that it is time for you to rest. Your eyelids look as though they're weighed down by stone. You can barely keep them open. Lay back. Come on. There you go. You need rest in order to recover properly, swiftly. Just focus on that. You don't have to worry, just close your eyes and know that you are safe here. You are in the protection of the forest, in the protection of me. Nothing will come to harm you while I am here. That is a promise, and we elves do not make promises lightly. That's it. Just rest. I will be here when you next wake.